How's it going, guys? It's Kass. As always, if you've been enjoying my content, then feel free to subscribe. In today's video, we're going to be talking about chaos theory and going through basically how the mechanic of it works and if it's good or not. For those of you that don't know, chaos theory actually is from the legendary chaos theory from Legion. And what it does is when you use blade dance, you have a 10% chance to get chaos blades. And what chaos blades is it increases the damage of your chaos strike by 25% for 8 seconds. And while it's active, your chaos strike makes it so you refund the fairy cost 100% of the time. So you're able to just press chaos strike over and over and over again for that 8-second window. Now that probably sounds pretty good because when Chaos Blades was in the game, it was actually a very good talent. However, this legendary works kind of weird. Instead of it being just a straight 10% chance, it's actually works on kind of how the Dark Moon deck trinkets work. If you didn't know, basically how it works is it guarantees that you're going to pull the specific cards, and you have to pull all of the cards, I believe. So that's how the function actually works for chaos theory, which is actually pretty bad. So I've had it written out here, so when I talk through it, we don't get, or you're not able to be confused. You can just read along with me as I'm talking. So basically how it works is you're always going to get 2 chaos theories every time you press blade dance 20 times. So, and that's because the way the system works. You cannot get more than 2 chaos theories in 20 blade dances. So if the first 2 chaos theory, or the first 2 blade dances that you press, you get chaos theory with both of them, you now have 18 blade dances that you will be pressing that cannot actually proc chaos theory. That's how the legendary works in Legion, and that's how we believe the legendary works based off of the testing I've seen. And I've heard from other Demon Hunter players that have tested it as well that they believe it's the same. So basically what this means is if it was a straight 10% chance, you would have a pull where you potentially had a proc after proc after proc after proc, and it felt incredibly good, and you were just doing crazy damage. But unfortunately, the chance for that RNG to happen is actually impossible. The most that you can possibly get is 4 in a row. But in order to get 4 in a row, you have to press 18 blade dances in a row where you don't get the proc. Your 19th, you will get it. And your 20th, you are guaranteed to get it. And then you would have to start over the 20 stack. And then your first and second would have to get it. But then that means that 18 after your first and second will not be able to proc it. So basically, they've made it so you can't have extremely bad RNG, but they've also made it so you can't have extremely good RNG. And this legendary, honestly, would only be good in the situations where you had extremely good extremely good RNG, and you got it multiple times in a row. But that's not actually possible with how the coding of the game actually works for this item. So I want to make that extremely clear. I even didn't know this until a few days ago, where I heard Evade talking about it. If you don't know who Evade is, he is basically one of the best demon hunters in the game, if not the best demon hunters in the game. He's the main demon hunter in Limit. But he was talking about this and actually talked about this system, which is why I thought I'd make a video on it, just so it's a little bit more known. And why I want people to know this before they go ahead and craft it. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and look at the damage portion of it. If you're getting 20 blade dance, since how it works is you're going to be pressing 20 blade dances, every 20 you're going to be getting 2 chaos theories. A blade dance cooldown is around 8 seconds, including death sweep in that cooldown. So theoretically, you're going to be getting 2 every 120 seconds. And that's going to give you 16 seconds of chaos blades. So that means 10% of the fight, you're going to have chaos blades. And if we think about that, then we're going to go ahead and use some numbers from the Inner Demons video. In that video, It was basically the best case scenario. I was able to do 28 chaos strikes and annihilates together combined in a 60-second window. That is without meta, but that is using the Cycle of Hatred build, which you actually do not want to be playing Cycle of Hatred with Chaos Theory, because you don't want to be pressing Blade Dance ever. Kind of negates the idea of chaos or of Cycle of Hatred if you're not spending the Fury pressing chaos strikes. Because I have heard people talking about potentially using this legendary with Chaos Theory, but whenever you're pressing Blade Dance to proc the legendary and you're not using First Blood, you're doing significantly less damage in the fight instead of just only pressing Chaos Strike. That's just based off of the talent row. You're going to have to take First Blood if you're using Chaos Theory. All right, with that all being said, we're still going to go off of the Cycle of Hatred portion, because that's going to tell us the threshold of chaos strikes that we can get in that time frame. So I'm just going to say we're going to be getting 8 chaos strikes in the window that we have chaos blades, and then we're going to go from there. In the test, the 28 chaos strikes was accounted for 27,000 damage, and that was 29% of my overall damage. So the first step is we divide it by 28 to get the damage per chaos strike, right around 964.3 chaos strike, or per 1 chaos strike. Then we multiply times 8, because we're saying we're getting 8 chaos strikes inside the 8-second window, which potentially is possible, but more likely than not, we're probably going to be getting 7. But with that being said, we're just going to use 8 to give it best case scenario. So we're getting 8 chaos strikes. We multiply that times 1.25 for the 25% increased damage when you have chaos blades, and then we multiply that by the flat damage per chaos strike, and that's going to get us 9,643 damage in 8 chaos strikes. We add that to 20 plus the damage per chaos strikes, and that gives us the equivalent of 28 chaos strikes, with 8 of those having 25% more damage. Hopefully I haven't lost you guys. But basically, when push comes to shove, that means instead of doing 27k damage, we're doing 28,929 damage. When we divide that by 93k, which is the total damage that we did, that is 31% damage, total damage now, with the 25% increased chaos damage, or chaos strike damage with chaos blades. Lots of chaos talking about this video. But anyway, that's 31.1 divided by, or minus 29%, means that this legendary is actually only giving us 2.1% total damage. And if you go ahead and take a look, and if you haven't seen this video, I would suggest checking the description. There's going to be a link to the Sigil of Illidari build, which is now called Collective Anguish. There's going to be a link to that where we talk about why that I believe is going to be the best legendary to use. And in that video, we see that that actually accounts for around 6% of our total damage. So the difference between wearing this legendary and wearing Sigil of the Illidari is actually nearly 3 times less effective. So that's why you probably don't want to be using this legendary, and you probably don't want to spend any time getting this legendary. All right, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, F5, refresh, try it again. Maybe you like it the second time. Have a good one.